An empty throne. No king. No heir. Just a banker who walked in and sat down. 1348 Half of Europe is dying. And a few people are getting filthy rich. Not by stealing. By surviving. Picture this. You wake up. Your street is silent. No shops open. No church bells. Half your city is dead. But their houses are still there. Their land. Their gold. Their businesses. Someone has to take it. The question is, who? Here's what breaks during a plague. Inheritance laws collapse. No heirs? No witnesses? No records? Then ownership becomes a race. Whoever claims it first owns it. Whoever has lawyers wins. Whoever survives with money buys everything for pennies. The game didn't stop. The players just changed. Florence. 1397. The biggest banks in Europe are dead. Body family. Bankrupt. Peruzzi family. Gone. Their clients are panicking. Enter Giovanni de' Medici. Mid-level banker. Nothing special. Except everyone above him died. He opens a new bank. Grabs the Pope's account. His family rules Florence for 300 years. His great-grandson funds Michelangelo. Not because he was brilliant. Because the brilliant ones were dead. Milan. Same time. The Visconti family watches nobles die. No sons. No heirs. Empty castles. They don't invade. They just move in. Marry into dying families. Protect abandoned estates. By 1395, they control so much land they become dukes. One plague. One generation. One empire. England. The countryside. The Potton family are farmers. Dirt poor. Their neighbor dies. No heir. They buy his land. Cheap. Next neighbor dies. They buy again. 40 years later, their kids marry royalty. They never fought a battle. They just outlived the competition. Across England, dozens of families do this. Nevilles. Stanleys. De la Poles. Names that will crown kings. Up north, merchants see something else. Southern Europe is starving. They need grain. Timber. Salt. The Hanseatic League has all three. They buy cheap in Poland. Sell at 10x in plague cities. No guilt. No hesitation. Just supply and demand. Families like the Weckenschuzens fund entire governments with plague profits. Then there's the church. No heirs to lose. No family to die out. When people panic, they donate. Save my soul. Take my land. Monasteries across Europe double their territory. Not through war. Through terror. Fear is excellent business. But the poor win something too. Power. Suddenly there aren't enough workers. For the first time in centuries, peasants negotiate. Pay me more or I leave. Wages double. Triple. England tries to pass a law stopping it. Fails completely. You can't legislate scarcity. For 50 years, the bottom moves up. So what actually happened? The plague didn't destroy wealth. It transferred it. To people with cash when others were desperate. To people with lawyers when others had none. To people positioned to claim what the dead left behind. This wasn't luck. It was math. Half the competition dies. The survivors don't split evenly. The prepared take everything. You've seen this. 2008 housing crash. Who bought the foreclosed homes? Blackstone. Private equity. Hedge funds. Because they had cash. 2020 lockdowns. Small businesses close. Amazon doubles. Not because they caused it. Because they were positioned for it. Same crisis pattern. Different century. The families from the plague didn't fade. The Medici built the Renaissance. The Visconti ruled for generations. English gentry controlled Parliament for 400 years. Hanseatic merchants dominated trade until 1600. These weren't temporary winners. They became the foundation. The banks, the universities, the power systems, all built on plague wealth. Here's the rule. Crises don't destroy wealth. They concentrate it. Fewer landlords equals higher rents. Fewer workers equals higher wages. Fewer competitors equals monopoly profits. The system reorganizes around survivors. And survivors aren't random. They're the ones with resources to wait. Which means they exit richer. Always. But here's what no one talks about. These families didn't just wait. They planned. The Medici kept cash reserves while competitors took risky loans. The Visconti mapped every noble bloodline in Lombardy. English merchants stockpiled contracts on plague-emptied lands. When harvests failed, grain traders bought futures. When death rates spiked, lawyers prepared claims. When panic hit markets, bankers offered credit. At brutal rates. Preparation isn't passive. It's predatory. Timing decided everything. Buy too early? You might die before you profit. Buy too late? Someone else already claimed it. The Medici waited until 1397, 50 years after the first wave, when chaos had settled into opportunity, when desperate clients needed stability. They didn't rush into the fire. They walked in after it burned out, and claimed the ashes. Cold, calculated, effective. But there's a darker side. For every Medici, 1,000 families vanished. For every Visconti estate, 100 peasants starved. For every merchant fortune, entire villages were abandoned. The winners didn't just survive. They survived by extracting value from collapse. Buying land meant someone else lost it. Hiring cheap labor meant someone was desperate. Monopolizing grain meant someone starved while you profited. This isn't a fairy tale. It's transfer at scale. And it's happening now. 2008 banks collapsed. Who got bailed out? The biggest players. Who bought distressed assets? Those with liquidity. 2020 lockdowns hit. Who thrived? Companies that could scale remotely. Who died? Local businesses with no reserves. Every crisis follows the same script. Panic. Consolidation. Concentration. The mechanics don't change. Only the names. This isn't moral. It's mechanical. 50 million died. Civilizations vanished. But the wealth didn't disappear. It moved. To bankers in Florence. To nobles in Milan. To merchants in the Baltic. To the church that never stopped expanding. Tragedy and profit share the same room. If you had nothing before the crisis, you have nothing after. If you had something, you have more. Because you buy when others panic. Because you hire when others are desperate. Because you wait when others can't. The Black Death didn't level Europe. It made winners permanent. And those winners built the world you live in today. Want to understand power? Study disasters. The Medici weren't geniuses. They had cash when banks were failing. The Visconti weren't conquerors. They were noble when nobles were dying. Position beats everything. The Black Death killed 50 million people. But it didn't kill wealth. It just moved it from the dead to the positioned. The throne didn't stay empty. Someone always sits down. The question is, were you ready when the room cleared? History doesn't repeat. But the mechanics never change.